Hello and welcome everybody. This is England. In this tutorial, I am going to be showing you how to make this burger. You can see it's a cool burger. I'm just going to be hiding that one for some reason. It's a really nice burger, stylized one, and it is easy to make for beginners, intermediate users. You can just go ahead and follow along. I even animated this and it works both in Eevee and cycles. How cool is this? Let it wait till it's compiling. I think it's, yeah, shaders are compiling. It should not take too much, so I am going to be adding this one like this. So let's just go right into it. New general, and don't save this because we know how to make it, and in few minutes you'll know how to make it too. Make the 16 because we don't want to add more excess vertices that we are not going to be working with. I'm just going to be extruding it in the z-axis by pressing E and extruding it like this, and filling the center using F. Select this edge loop by clicking Alt and clicking on the edge loop, extrude it, scale it down like this, and fill it. Use click and F. Now we could just go ahead and add a subdivision surface modifier onto it and go to the front view, and we are just going to be having two levels of the subdivision. Add an edge loop right here and put it like this because we want to indicate the top part, and right click, shade it smooth like this. Now we have this. We want to continue making the burger, but we want some kind of irregularity because there is no burger that have this kind of shape. So I'm just going to be adding a displacement modifier, and it's going to be looking weird, like a tail or something. I'm just going to be clicking new to add a new texture and go right here, image or movie, change the type to clouds, and it's good like this. I'm just going to make this one size. Still looks weird, so we are just going to be decreasing the strength right here, so we get this kind of burger. Okay, let's continue making it. We are just going to be making the salad next. I'm just going to add the circle again, 16 vertices, go up like this, front view, fill it, and before we fill it, we could use F3 and grid fill. Grid fill is going to give us all quads topology, so we don't have issues while we are subdividing it, which we are going to be doing it most of the time. Add two levels of subdivision, add a solidify modifier to give it some thickness like this, which we should put it first like this. So we have this right now. Give it more solidify, making it more stylized like this, and playing with these parts to make it look it's interacting with the bread. Okay, like this. We could just use the displace modifier, but I think this for this part is better. It's better to use the to make it to do it manually, because you know nothing is as satisfying as making it by hand. It just takes time. That's why people are going to the more computer made works like this. So we have this fast and easy. You could just put some kind of irregularities. We'll go to wireframe by clicking Z, or just go here and select this part and make it more regular like this. Now we have this part. We are just going to be going to the front view. I think I'm going a little bit fast, so I'm just going to slow down. Go to the front view, add a circle like this, G and Z like this. We are going to be making the meat right now. Scale it, okay, like this, kind of. Fill the top part, fill the bottom part. should work like this. Control 3 to add a subdivision surface. Smooth. Okay, add two edge loops. If you don't have a numpad, it does work when you click Control 3 to add a subdivision surface, so you should do it manually. Okay, I'm going to select the top part and the bottom part, I for inset, and do it like this. Now we should add a meat that is irregular. This is too perfect to be a true kind of meat, so I'm just going to be adding a new texture right here, changing this to cloud and putting this one, going back here, decreasing the strength until we get something that we like this. And we could even rotate it a little bit so it's kind of blending with the bottom part. Yeah, like this. We could just go to the proportional in the editing, enable the proportional editing like this, G and Z, and put it like this kind of thing that we could, make it feel like more real. These effects are the ones that are going to be making your scene look more believable. Even though it's stylized, it should look believable, and you should add this kind of stuff to make it more believable, like this, so it's blending with each other. Don't do it too much though, so you are going to be now making the bottom part of our model getting noticed, I think. Yeah, like this should do it. Scale, Shift A, and I'll apply the scale. We add the cheese. For the cheese, we are not going to be adding a circle. In fact, we are adding a plane like this, because the cheese are kind of square. And subdivided it. Yeah, this is good. Add a subdivision surface modifier. Make it 2. Add a solidify modifier like this. Put it on the top of the subdivision surface, and add a little bit of something that like this. Our cheese have gotten round corners, so we want corners that are rather sharp, so I am adding something like this. So we have the scale and make it like this. Right click smooth to get this. Enable the proportional editing G and Z axis with after enabling the proportional fall off like this, and make the cheese blend with the meat too. So I think the cheese is a little bit too much. And some quick note to tell you guys: you have to apply your scale whenever you are whenever you are scaling something out of the edit mode, because you are moving the whole object, and it's just good practice to do, because the physics stuff are not going to be predictable after that one. If you haven't applied the scale, even the sculpting is not going to be predictable. So now we have this, we are just going to be continuing with the tomatoes. Tomatoes are a little bit trickier. We'll just add a circle 16, move it right up like that, scale it down, Shift 8, applying the scale, extruding it in the Z-axis, filling the bottom part too, and face selection mode right here, or press the top part 3 and extrude it, scale it down. Disable the proportional fall off if you are having issues with the scaling. Insert it again, G and Z, something like this. It's stylized tomatoes, so shouldn't matter. Go to the local view by pressing slash on your keyboard, and like this, do something like this. This should work. Add a subdivision surface and add something like this right here to get this. Add this right here and select this face and insert it to get something like this. This should work. Stylized one, so we don't have to worry about it making it real. So like this, move it something like this. Enable the snapping and Go to the face, align rotation, align individual. So this is basically doing sticking this whenever I'm duplicating it. It's arranging the, what do you call it, the rotation for me, so I don't have to do it manually. So we are done with the layers. So I'm just going to be adding the top part of the bread. I'm just going to be duplicating it. Uh, Disable the snapping, scale it in the z-axis, and press -1 to flip it downwards like this. Don't forget to apply the scale, and we get this. Now the top part is a little bit bulged out to the top, so I'm just selecting this part, move it like this, so we get something that looks like this. And voila, we have modeled the burger finally. I'm scaling this down a little bit because it's about the size of the bread, which we don't want to be like that scale. Sorry about the glitches and stuff that been made right now. So I'm just going to be going to the shading mode to start texturing our uh, cheeseburger. Go to the bottom part, add a new material, call it bread, like this. So the bread have two parts, which is the uncooked and the cooked part. That's super easy to make. Add a gradient. You should be able to do this. Plug it in the base color, add a color ramp. I added vector color for some reason. Color ramp, this, put it in between. Click the gradient texture, Control T. If you have enabled the node wrangler and the preference add-ons, and enable the node wrangler, and so you'd get add-ons, node wrangler, yeah, right here. If you have enabled it and press this Control T, you'll get this value right here. We are just going to be going Control Shift and clicking this to see what is going on. Now we have this going from here to here. We want it from bottom to top. I'm just going to be changing this to object to get it in the middle right here and rotating it by 90 degrees like this. And moving it in the x-axis. Yeah, this should work like this to get this kind of effect. And change this part to brown-ish color. And for the uncooked kind of part, that is barely cooked, so we are just going to be using this desaturated like this, and we get this kind of burger filling. Now this doesn't look as good, so I'm just going to go scene world. I don't think scene world. I'm just going to go use this matcap. You could choose whatever you want. I just installed this one. I like this. You can go to HDRI Haven, disabling the world opacity. Now we want something, to have some bumps in this. So I'm just going to be adding a bump map, plugging this right here to the normals. So we could get this, and adding a noise texture, noise. And we are just going to be adding a Musgrave to have some kind of variation in the bumps. So we are just going to be adding this to using a math node. Change this to multiply to get the Bose effect. It's basically multiply is using Bose. So we are just going to be plugging this, both of them right here. Plug the multiply into the height and wait for it. I should have a drum right here. Yeah, we have this, so it's getting stretched. I am plugging the object on both of these to get something that looks like this. My computer is getting slow for some reason. I don't think I have something else opened. Now I am just going to be decreasing this part. And yeah, this is good. So when you decrease the strength of this, you'll get this kind of bread. Isn't this cool? So now we have this. I will just use the same thing for the top part because we don't want to make it twice. But you see that the top and bottom part, the uncooked part is in top. We want it in here. So I'm just going to be clicking the two button and calling this one the top, because if we haven't clicked the two button, which is going to affect the bottom part. So basically they were using the same kind of thing. I'm just going to be flipping this part like this and put it and adjust this value like this to get this kind of effect. And voila, we got this. Now after this is just a play in the park. After this one, press the, I don't know, the salad light right here, add a Musgrave texture, add a color ramp, plug this in the colors right here and right here. I think I forgot about the roughness of the bread. I think we should make it less rougher. I think bread should not reflect that much. I think it's just good as it is. I'm just going to go to the salad, continue working with salad. We added this too, so press this. Why I'm pressing the wrong things? Go right here, go to the green, make it like this, greenish, and make this the same green but slightly darker. So we get variation. Go to the solo mode so we can see what is happening. Enable the up the scale and disable the details. I'll see what is happening right here. So we have this kind of effect going on. So we could see this. Bam, we have this. I will decrease the more to see more of these. I think this is too much. Just to get some variation in this, I'll just up this radius in roughness. I think it's raining outside, so it should not work like this. I'm gonna just continue working with this. Uh, okay, so we should press the bread here. I don't know why I've gone out the texture, the shading mode. Go back from here, pressing slash. Press this part, and we are just going to be adding the bread, the meat. I'll call this meat. And for the base color, we could just use brown and make it little like this. Something like this should work. Make it a little bit more darker. For the meat, we are just going to be using a shade texture. Add a Musgrave texture. Shift A. Add a bump node as always. And plug this here. Plug the Musgrave into the height. So we get something like this. Solo the bread like this. Add some scale and details on it. Control T to get this and change this to object. I think the rain is interfering with this part, so I will just try and shout. I don't want to do this. I've been doing this tutorial for a whole day and I don't want to be doing it again. So I'll just, Musgrave. And when you decrease this, you see the magic happening like this. So we have like this kind of stuff to make it meaty, I think. Yeah, add this dimensions thing. Yeah, something like this works good. We'll decrease the scale little bit. So because it's stylized, we don't need that much detail. The small details are the ones that are going to make it look creepy. So I'll just use the. I'm gonna go to the cheese. Add a cheese. Call it cheese. I'm bad at spelling, so I don't even know how to spell cheese. That's how bad I am. So for the cheese, it's rather simple. I'll just go here, base color RGB, make the red zero point 0.5 on the on the green value and one on the red value to get this kind of orangey cheese. kind of thing and add a sheen on top of it because we need another layer of this going on. I will add some cheese-ish kind of feeling to it. So the one that is trickier to make is the tomatoes. It's not that tricky, but it's more complicated than the others. I'll kill tomatoes for it. Thomas tomatoes. I'm gonna add that one. So I will use I will just use the vertex painting mode. I think I'll add more and apply this first. I'll go to the vertex paint mode, go back to object mode, X to flip this value right here, X by pressing X. So I'll just draw something like this, like a cross-ish thing we could use as a mask to disable some stuff. Like I will just add something like this, make this bigger and work with something that looks like this. Okay, now we have this. After we have this, we should, why this is not working? Okay, I'm just continue with this. Now we have this Shift A input and vertex color, and you'll get the color and plug this in here. When you go to the Eevee render or the look dev development mode, terrain is too much. I don't think you could hear me. I'll just try to edit it. Sorry, guys. So I'm just gonna follow along. Add a color ramp. Add a light fall off. Why would I need a light color ramp? No, Shift A search color ramp like this. Add a color ramp and change this color to white. We want this white, and we want this part to be red like this, full on red. Now we have this. We could just go ahead and change this part to something that is slightly redder, red-ish, I think. Yeah, we should add this kind of stuff like it and go to the saturation and desaturate it a little bit more like this, so we get something that looks like this, and add a noise texture to make it look more good. Move it like this. Search, add a color ramp, I think. Nah, mix RGB. No, I think it's mix RGB. Yeah, mix RGB and add it right here. We got the color one and add the second part right here. Add red color to it. You get the point. Just add more variation to get the better parts like this. So the tomatoes are not looking good right now, so I'm just going to add a bump to add some little bit more surface imperfection like this. Add a bump, add a noise texture. As always, plug the factor into the height, Control T right here. It's compiling. I think the noise texture is the one that takes most of your memories. I have to read about it. I have heard somebody talk about it in YouTube, and I will just continue doing this. And if we decrease the scale right here, we get something that looks like this. I'm hiding the top part, delete these two because we want to duplicate this part, and enable the snapping. Shift D right here, Shift D right here, we get this. Alt H to bring back our bread, and voila, we got this. Now if we go to the cycles renderer to get more even cooler results like this, I could just eat this. This is so cool. You could just play with it, add some animation and stuff. We could just make whatever you want with it. Bye. Don't forget to like, subscribe, watch more tutorials. If you want to be good at sculpting, watch my sculpting course, which is everything explained by guys.